Aaron Rodgers is no stranger to criticism, but this season has brought a whole new wave of it. As the leader of the New York Jets, Rodgers is struggling to meet the high expectations set for him. With the team underperforming and his performances falling short of greatness, fans, analysts, and even former players aren't holding back their opinions. FS1 analyst Chris Broussard didn't mince words, saying, "I think he's done." Broussard pointed to Rodgers' age and declining efficiency as signs that he might not be capable of leading a team to success anymore. This blunt statement echoes what many critics are now asking: are Rodgers' best days as an elite quarterback behind him? Adding to the debate, his season stats aren't helping. His current completion rate is one of the lowest of his career, fueling doubts about his ability to turn things around. Rodgers' efficiency has also taken a noticeable hit compared to his prime years. While he still has a quick release and a strong arm, his struggles with accuracy and decision-making have been a major concern. Analysts point out that his performance no longer shows the precision and control that once made him one of the best in the game. But the criticism doesn't stop at his on-field performance. Questions about Rodgers' leadership style have also come back into the spotlight. Some believe his presence hasn't brought the unity the Jets were hoping for. An anonymous NFL insider even said, "The energy is just not there. You need a quarterback who inspires everyone, and right now, that's not happening." This has only fueled the ongoing debate about Rodgers' overall impact on the team's chemistry and morale. While Rodgers has admitted the team is struggling, he has deflected some of the blame. In a recent press conference, he reminded everyone that football is a team effort, saying, "Football is the ultimate team sport. We win as a team, and we lose as a team. It's on all of us to be better," Rodgers said, emphasizing the collective responsibility. While this statement seems aimed at uniting the team, it has also sparked debate. Some feel Rodgers hasn't taken enough personal accountability for the Jets' struggles. Despite the growing criticism, Rodgers remains determined. When asked about his future in the league, he responded confidently, "I've heard this kind of talk before. I've proven doubters wrong in the past, and I plan to do it again." His resilience is inspiring, but many are questioning if he still has the tools and the support to turn things around at this stage of his career. As the Jets push through a difficult season, the spotlight remains firmly on Rodgers. How he handles this wave of criticism won't just define the rest of his season. It could also shape his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. The criticism surrounding Aaron Rodgers this season isn't just about his individual performances. It raises bigger questions about his role within the Jets organization. Many analysts have pointed out that the Jets made a huge investment in Rodgers, both financially and by adjusting their roster, but the results have fallen short of expectations. This has sparked debates about whether betting on a veteran quarterback nearing the end of his career was the right move. Former NFL quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick delivered one of the most direct critiques during a recent podcast. He said, "Rodgers has the talent, but it feels like he's lost the edge that made him special. At this point, the Jets needed a leader, not just a name." Fitzpatrick's comments reflect a growing belief that Rodgers' leadership hasn't been as impactful as the team had hoped. While Rodgers has shown flashes of brilliance, critics argue that these moments are too rare to inspire confidence or elevate the team. Another recurring critique is Rodgers' inability to adapt to the Jets' offensive system. Known as one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, he has struggled to build strong chemistry with his receivers, raising further questions about his fit with the team. Rodgers has also struggled to adjust to a less-than-ideal offensive line. NFL insiders have pointed out that this is especially noticeable on third downs, where Rodgers' decision-making has often faltered. Some have even said that Rodgers seems uncomfortable in the pocket, a sharp contrast to the calm, confident player he was in Green Bay. Another layer of criticism comes from Rodgers' public comments, which some people see as more deflective than helpful. While he often emphasizes the team's collective responsibility, critics argue that he hasn't taken enough ownership of his role in the team's struggles. This has led to accusations that Rodgers may be more focused on protecting his image than fixing the issues on the field. NFL analyst Emmanuel Akko expressed this concern, saying, "Accountability is the cornerstone of leadership, and I'm not seeing enough of it from Aaron Rodgers this season." At 40 years old, Rodgers is one of the oldest active players in the NFL. His age has been a factor in the growing criticism. Some question whether his physical abilities are declining faster than expected. An anonymous NFL executive recently noted, "You can see the arm strength is still there, but the mobility isn't. He's not extending plays the way he used to, and defenses are taking advantage of that." This decline in mobility has made Rodgers more vulnerable to pressure, which has been made worse by the Jets' offensive line struggles. While there's been plenty of criticism, some still defend Rodgers. They argue that the Jets' problems go beyond just their quarterback. Supporters point to issues like inconsistent protection from the offensive line, a lack of standout receivers, and questionable coaching decisions as other major factors. Former teammate Davante Adams recently came to Rodgers' defense, saying Aaron can only do so much. The team around him needs to step up too. As Rodgers faces the challenge of silencing his critics and leading the Jets out of their slump, the road ahead looks tough. His ability or inability to rise to the occasion will not only define this season, but could also shape how his time with the Jets is remembered. As the season unfolds, Aaron Rodgers remains at the center of one of the NFL's most scrutinized storylines. The growing criticism, both from within the league and the media, has created a pivotal moment in his career. For a quarterback who has spent years defying expectations, the big question now is whether Rodgers can rise above the noise and prove his doubters wrong, or if this chapter with the Jets will ultimately tarnish his legacy. One of the major critiques this season has focused on Rodgers' ability to adapt his playing style. Many believe his reluctance to fully embrace change is holding both him and the Jets back. Shannon Sharpe recently said, "Aaron has always played on his terms, but the game doesn't wait for anyone. If he can't adjust, it's over." Sharpe's comments reflect a growing belief that Rodgers must find new ways to impact the game, especially as age and physical limitations start to take a bigger toll on his performance. Rodgers' critics have also pointed out his perceived lack of urgency. Unlike quarterbacks such as Tom Brady, who were known for their relentless drive to rally their teams during tough seasons, Rodgers has been criticized for seeming detached. This has led some to question his passion for the game at this point in his career. Former Jets coach Rex Ryan recently said, "This team needed a quarterback who would light a fire under them, and I'm not sure Aaron has been that guy." While Rodgers has publicly expressed his commitment to turning things around, his words have done little to silence his critics. In a recent interview, he said, "I've been in tough situations before and I know how to handle adversity. It's all about staying the course." However, skeptics argue that words are no longer enough. Rodgers needs to deliver tangible results on the field to back up his confidence. Despite the relentless criticism, Rodgers still has defenders who believe the blame isn't entirely his. NFL analyst Kurt Warner pointed out that the Jets' problems go beyond just Rodgers. The defensive line is struggling and the receiving core hasn't been consistent. It's not fair to put everything on one player. Warner's remarks echo the sentiment of some fans who argue that Rodgers has been set up to fail in an environment that wasn't ready to support a high-caliber quarterback. The Jets' front office is also under pressure, with questions being raised about whether the gamble on Rodgers was worth it. The team made significant sacrifices to acquire him, from financial investments to draft picks, all with the expectation that he would lead them deep into the playoffs. If the season continues on its current path, those decisions will come under even more scrutiny. For Rodgers, the remaining games aren't just about trying to make a playoff push. They're about proving he still belongs among the NFL's elite. While his critics are louder than ever, Rodgers has a chance to change the narrative. He can flip the script by finishing strong and showing he can still perform at a high level despite the challenges. However, if the struggles persist, the talks about retirement will only grow louder, and Rodgers' time in New York may be remembered more for disappointment than the success both he and the Jets had hoped for. Ultimately, how Rodgers handles adversity will define this chapter of his career. Whether he can silence the doubters and remind everyone of the player who once dominated the league is still up in the air. What's certain, though, is that all eyes will stay on Aaron Rodgers as he navigates one of the most challenging seasons of his storied career.